a few more lyrics, but I don't know, I was just kind of really inspired last year to like write and stuff like that, so I ended up writing some songs and stuff. So
cool. And even your lyrical content, I would say, is pretty diverse as far as thematic elements are concerned. What inspires the lyrical content, and are you guys fans of H.P. Lovecraft? He's a favorite author of mine out of my home city of Providence, and I noticed some references in your work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, Lovecraft. He's had such a sci-fi. Nerd's dream come true. It's so his writing is so unique, and the imagery he uses and stuff like that is so dark and creepy and stuff. So it's definitely certain songs like Reanimator. I mean, that was based off a Lovecraft story. Reanimaniac rather. It's based off the story of Reanimator. So there's definitely influence from there. We try and, like you said, like the lyrics try to match the diversity of the music. So we're not going to just release like every song is going to be like political or this or that, or every, certain, we're inspired by whole lots of different things, whether it's sort of like a more like narrative story kind of thing, like with like Leviathan Awaits. That was a song I wrote, which is kind of based on like kind of like the Cthulhu kind of thing.
I thought there was some similarity there.
And then or if it's like something like current events, like I mean last year there was the whole economic meltdown or whatever that we had, or maybe it was the year before that, but where everything was just
where Deathonomics kind of
exactly. Everything was going to hell, and I was just watching the news and just getting so pissed at these politicians and stuff like that, and these executives of companies like going on the news, and people would call them out and they would just still kind of snake their way out of it, and no one was really like slamming these guys on it and like, no, you said this, and exact opposite of it happened, and like you're taking this bailout money and then you're going like private jets, and it was just kind of like like putting a magnifying glass on just like the greed and like corruption that is kind of underlying in a lot of different business practices in government, and no one really got called out for it. So I was just kind of getting pissed at that and decided to write some kind of more politically tinged stuff. And then sometimes we write stuff just based on like our personal lives, how we're feeling, or just this and that. So it's just very, very broad, and I think sometimes the lyrics are I don't want to say an afterthought, but like if a song is maybe like a little bit more like upbeat and thrashy, like we knew before Reanimaniac had lyrics, we wanted it to have sort of like a real sort of evil kind of thrash imagery to go along with the music. It didn't really, the music to that didn't strike us as like, oh, this is going to be like a song about politics or something like that. It was kind of had a little bit more of like a
kind of had to match it.
Yeah, exactly. So and we had to do that, and like maybe like Leviathan had a little bit more of like an epic kind of feeling to it. So I wanted to be more of like a story about I mean, to tell you the truth, like with Leviathan, that just first riff just. When you just like think of stuff, when you like hear stuff, whatever, like, oh, this reminds me of like a sea monster or something like that. Like it literally just reminded me of like underwater sea creature. I know I sound like a nerd, but like that's what I thought of when I'd be playing the riff, and I was like, you know what? Screw it, I'm just gonna write this about a sea monster, and came out pretty good, I think.
Cool. Yeah. Your lyrics definitely add a lot to the music itself, and I think, like you said, politics are something that's always interesting to incorporate in music, but it's something that I think you kind of have to tread lightly with, because it either turns people on and they're really into it, or it turns people off immediately and they want to stray away from it. And it's something that can either be done well, or it's kind of it's kind of iffy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a way to go about it. I mean, sometimes it can like if you do it too much or too over the top, it can be kind of like preachy or whatever. And but there are some like really important issues that are going on. People need to like wake up to certain things that are going on, but we don't want to like hammer it over the head. What I mean? We might touch on like a few facets of that, but we're not gonna have like a whole
like political album.
Yeah, political album. It just I don't think it really.
I think it's something that not everyone can pull off. It's kind of tricky. Like I think Rage did it well, and Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake. I thought that album was an album I really dug lyrically. And
some bands do it great. What I mean, and you can get into it from start to finish. But I mean, just for us, I think our music is diverse in a lot of different ways, and like we just try and like to keep the lyrical diversity up with it to match the kind of different songs.
Definitely, it's a good match.
Yeah, thanks.
You mentioned that you guys have been writing new material. Existence just came out in September of 2009. It came out later in the year, right?
It came out come out the end of September, I think.
Yeah,
09.
So, is this material you're writing now stuff we're not going to see for a while, I would assume?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really exactly sure when we're going to go into the studio or anything like that. You know, the main plan is to still tour pretty heavily for Existence. But, you know, we definitely want to get the new stuff out there and, you know, have people check it out because, you know, we're always writing different stuff and just getting stoked on, you know, our material when we're just jamming out at the space. So, you know, we're very eager for people to, you know, hear what we're coming up with and just get people's feedback on how the next one's going to be.
Cool. Do you guys have any plans for the remainder of 2010 after all this spring touring? You guys probably going to tour some more? What's the game plan?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, you know, we have little powwows here and there with like our booking agent and stuff like that, and trying to see, you know, what's out there. So hopefully maybe we'll do another summer tour, like at the end of the summer maybe. Get on something, you know, decent. We're doing like another support thing. But yeah, as of right now, it's still kind of murky. I mean, it's stuff. What I've learned with the whole being in this realm now is, you know, booking is so. You know, there's so many different things going on, you know what I mean? Behind the scenes, bands will put a package together and then, you know, bands will cancel the tour and go out with somebody else, you know what I mean? So it's always, unless you really know for sure and, like, nail it down, it's...
Nothing's concrete.
Yeah, nothing's concrete, so...
I get you. Do you think world domination is inevitable at this point?
You know, I would hope so. You know, we're going to keep out there and, you know, just keep hammering away and just keep ripping it live, so... The response has been pretty positive. It'll be our first time over in Japan and Europe, as I said before. So, you know, slowly but surely, you know, we were spreading our metal madness.
Nice. That's what I like to hear. So if you're listening out there, you can catch Revocation in Japan with Behemoth and Job for a Cowboy. In Europe on the Thrash and Burn tour with Dying Fetus, Origin, Beneath the Massacre, and Man Must Die. Then they will be doing a U.S. tour. 2 legs, first with Cattle Decapitation and In Full Darkness, and then with Cattle Decapitation, Job for a Cowboy, and Whitechapel. Do you have any final words for fans listening out there?
Just check our music out if you haven't heard us before, and if not, thanks for your support, and hopefully we'll see you guys at a show.
Cool. I appreciate you stopping by the studio today, man.
Thank you for having me.
I had a great time. David Davidson of Revocation, everybody.
Woo!